Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Yep.
Hello, and thank you all for joining us again for another Sunday afternoon stream here on Sound Goblin Gaming with our Super Robot Sunday series. So we continue our playthrough of SD Gundam G Generation Genesis. And that name really never gets easier to say quickly. I am, as always, Bograt.
I am the Krampus.
I'm Shiv.
And I came here to laugh at you.
And yeah, we are resuming Zeta Gundam. We were about halfway through here. We have like 4 scenarios left in Zeta. So maybe get through the rest of it today. Maybe have like 1 left. We'll see how fast these go.
How fast they go.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right. So as an aside, because I don't know, I was bored or something, I decided to start watching Zeta Gundam. So I've watched about 40-something episodes as of Monday of last week and haven't gotten back to it. But
Oh, it's a good series.
it actually is, which is weird because it's extremely... it's about as dated as the original Gundam series, but it's still...
Yeah,
maybe
I mean,
a
it's
little
only...
bit less, but
It's like, I want to say 85 was Zeta, so it is only a few years out from the original Gundam series. So yeah, like the animation, the writing, that style of stuff, yeah, it definitely has the same.
And it does feel like it continues the themes from the original series a lot better than some other series do.
In my opinion, like, it's not my favorite Gundam series by any means, but I do think that Zeta is possibly one of the best balanced of the like UC series, in that it carries its seriousness, its humor, and its themes in the best kind of, again, balance of those, and never lets one thing sort of overwhelm anything else.
Yeah.
Amuro, do us all a favor, snap his neck now.
What's so wrong with cats? In this series. Sorry, Reflex.
I feel like a lot of problems in Zeta Gundam could just be avoided if they had a spray bottle around every time Cats was there.
In fairness, they keep introducing new hot-headed children as mobile suit pilots. What the hell do they expect?
Okay, strictly speaking, Cats is not technically new.
Yes, I know, strictly speaking, he's not new, but...
Yeah, so again,
I meant new to that ship.
Yeah, again, to clarify for people that may not follow the story quite as closely, Hayato and Frau Bo got married after the events of the 1-year war and adopted the 3 like orphan children that were aboard White Base, one of which is Cats.
Also, in fairness, I can't be mad at Cats considering Hathaway is also in this series. And they don't let him drown.
No, Hathaway is way less of a pain in the ass than Cats. Like, here's the thing. Hathaway effectively fucks up once.
Yeah.
Cats is a constant running streak of fuck up, and constantly gets told, Cats, you fucked up. Here's how to not fuck up, and just doesn't listen.
Fair enough.
Hathaway has like one moment of like intense fuck up as, if I'm being blunt, a hormonal teenager. And yes, the scope of his fuck up is big, but it's a singular one, as opposed to Cats, who fucks things up constantly.
Basically, every time Cats decides to get involved in a conflict, he just shouldn't.
And again, it's not even like they approach it to him as like, Cats, you shouldn't get yourself involved in conflicts anymore. Every single time they come at it, they're like, hey,
stop doing
yeah,
that.
if you're going to get involved, here's how to do it without fucking things up. And he's like, fuck you. You're not my dad. And then his dad is like, Cats, stop fucking things up. Here's how you do it without fucking up. And he goes, fuck you. You're my dad.
It's just like, it's fine if you deploy and fight. Just stop doing dumb shit. harbor a primary enemy ship. I'm saying it got deep.
I do love the in-orbit carrier design. Is just basically we're going to upscale a cargo ship and throw shit tons of engines on it.
Pretty much.
It works. The Federation version.
Kind of, yeah. You were here?
Yes, he was technically here.
Look, man. Aishin's doing his own thing as an Indiana Jones whipping investigative journalist who goes into a jungle in a white suit.
Sorry, I didn't see a gun cannon taking the position to be a power bottom. I didn't realize Kai Shiden was aboard.
Honestly, Kai, you're kind of right. CCA is fine.
Right, and that dumb Titans thing.
The Ashermar?
Yeah.
It's fine. Transforming suits were a big thing in Zeta.
Yes, including the Zeta itself.
Yes.
Something Camille scribbled on the equivalent of a napkin that Anaheim Electronics decided to build.
So the interesting thing in that regard is that the final design of the actual Zeta Gundam is not actually one-to-one what Camille designed. It is actually like they took some of the ideas that Camille had and applied it to essentially designs they kind of already had in process. It doesn't like explicitly come up like super thoroughly, but like that's the whole thing is like a lot of the other suits you see were sort of prototype versions of the design that eventually became the Zeta. So like the Yakushiki, as we previously mentioned, is based off of the Delta Gundam. The Methus is technically the Gamma Gundam.
No, the Rick Diaz is
Or that's right, the Rick Diaz was the Gamma. The Methus, yeah.
The first experiment.
Yeah, the Methus was another like experiment with the transforming suit design that was eventually incorporated into the Gundams. So there's a whole bunch of little bits that eventually became incorporated into the Zeta, but it was stuff that it was a mixture of Camille's design and stuff Anaheim sort of already had in the works. Hence why Camille was able to, as you said, sort of scribble it down on a napkin and hand it over to AE. And then there was a mobile suit very shortly thereafter, because they actually kind of already had one like halfway done that they just sort of modified to his specs.
That makes more sense slightly. The parts that are probably explained later is why Anaheim Electronics does do what they do.
That never gets explicitly explained. They do what they do because they like money. You see, if you're on both sides of the war, you can never end up on the wrong side of the war.
Paid twice. Any special objectives in this one?
I'm getting it pulled up. Sorry, I was having some network issues with the laptop. I had to reset my...
That would also make sense. Anaheim is, well, yeah, like everything on the planet, if there are various factions within Anaheim.
Double Zeta implies this. Unicorn outright fucking states it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Get my reference sheets up.
Act Zaku.
That would have been. Yes, my favorite design of Zaku. I fucking love the Act Zaku. I explicitly like the Act Zaku base. I really like. I explicitly love the Cassilia Forces Act Zaku because it is an all-black version of that design. And it is, in my opinion, one of the coolest looking Zakus in the entirety of Gundam.
Also got that weird, like, 2G Gundam stuff.
Quest guide. I know there are ones, which is why I'm not letting you just roll.
Yep.
I just don't remember what they are off the top of my head. Because it was only number 2 that didn't have anything explicit other than completing it. Zeta. Zeta Gundam Mission 2. Or 3, rather. Okay, so... does not look like there's any that are explicitly for the pre-mission map.
Okay.
Other than there is one that may possibly require us to actually do the challenge on here. It's not entirely clear because it was a bad translation for the actual quest.
Yay, surfboards.
Explicitly, there is the mission to unlock Zeta-era Hayato as a recruitable pilot. States that you have to add the Audhumla to the production list. This literally isn't possible. The Audhumla is not a warship you can ever actually get, nor can you ever get any Garuda class as a warship in this entire game. So, best guess is it's just something that happens automatically for completing this mission. You may possibly need to do the challenge in this map. In the main mission map, prior to the like event trigger, we need to have Amuro destroy 6 enemy units within 4 turns. This again is mistranslated. The translation says it needs to be 9. It is actually only 6. And other than that, I believe we have just complete mission 3. Okay. No, we do want to definitely do the challenge because that is actually explicitly one for Rosamia. I mean, again, we probably won't actually recruit her or use her, but... So between scenarios, we did actually take a look and kind of do some planning stuff. We looked at pilot stats for sort of future stuff and decided whether it was going to be worth it for us to actually recruit the protagonists into our team over people we already had, and the answer is not really.
Partially because we couldn't get the protagonist by just starting a mission.
It's less that and more just, like, even if we could, like, looking at their pure stats, like... Camille, I think we did actually get just because his Awaken is really good, but actually neither Judao nor Benager actually have particularly good stat blocks better than what we already have on people, and by the time we get them, those people are going to have even more levels, therefore making an even wider gap for them to catch up with. So... just not particularly... feasible or useful for us to go in and recruit Judao or Benager. I will say that is a thing we will run into less when we're doing Crossrays, just because it does have the deployment mission system. So, like, we will definitely have the team that we are taking into missions that we're going to have the whole, like, issue of, like, oh, they have, like, 25 levels, and we need to like, that they're not going to be like matched up if we get this new, unlock this new pilot we want to recruit or whatever. But for the deployment teams, it's not as big a deal. Like, they do have to meet certain specs, and there's a chance they fail the deployment missions if the teams don't kind of meet up to those specs. But we're less concerned with it because it's not like you don't like lose anything for other than time, basically, for failing those deployment missions. You don't lose units, you don't lose pilots, anything like that. It's just, oh, you don't get the big reward. Oh no. So we can kind of have people on effectively teams 3 and 4 is how it really ends up being. And we can have those more populated with like, oh, we really like this pilot, but it's not, he's not going to be statted enough or good enough to be on the main team that already has 25 levels or whatever. But we can put him over here and we can give him a cool suit to be, sent off to Africa or whatever.
Yeah. I assume they don't gain that much, or do they gain like experience? Or
Yes.
anything from, okay.
Yes. When you send them on deployment missions, everyone that is sent on deployment mission, whether you succeed or fail at the deployment mission, you do actually get both pilot and unit XP. It is generally not as much as you would get from taking them into an actual scenario, obviously, but you can get a decent amount. And again, it's also variant dependent upon what particular deployment mission you're sending them on, because there are some deployment missions that are like a 1-hour timer, there are some that are like an 18-hour timer, and obviously the rewards for doing like the 18-hour ones are much better than the ones for doing like the 1 or 2 hour ones.
Yeah. These real-time hours, or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that is literally come back tomorrow.
So the advantage that kind of has, considering how we're playing the game, is we can kind of boost units over the course of a week.
No, I am absolutely. So when we get to doing that, we're going to be playing it on Steam, because I have it on Steam with all the DLC and everything, and we'll just be playing it on my Steam account. So I'll effectively be doing the same thing we did with Expeditions in Berseria, wherein I'll just pop in once a day to like reset those, and then when we're actively playing, we just send them on the like 1 hour or 2 hour missions, so we can get them looped while we're actually on stream, and then right before we end stream or whatever, or at the end of that day, we finish those, send them on an 18-hour, and then I'll just check in the next day, basically.
Yeah, that effectively lets us catch characters up that we want.
Catch characters up that we want. It's also going to be a necessity for us to do in order to unlock, because again, all the DLC for Crossrays are the other AUs, and that's the only way to get the units and pilots from those AUs is to do those deployment missions.
Okay.
And like get them. So every deployment mission has a percentage that builds up. Every time you go and do the mission, you get X amount of percentage. It's usually around 8 to 10%. And at certain thresholds, you get certain things. So, like, the first Gundam X one, for instance, if I recall correctly, is, like, at, like, 25%, you get, like, a background music. At, like, 50%, you get, I think, Garad as a pilot. At, like, 75%, you get, like, a part. And then at 100%, you get the actual Gundam X unit. So we'll definitely want to be doing those to unlock those units and pilots. And so it'll be something that we just kind of do off stream, and basically every week we will effectively come back and find ourselves as like, oh, we have like this handful of new pilots and suits we can use now. It is worth noting also there are items you can get in-game that you get in decent supply, not overwhelmingly so, but a decent supply, that actually are just like, if you use these when you start a mission, it cuts down the actual timer. Like each one effectively cuts like half an hour or an hour off the timer.
Yes, the turn up on array.
Yep. That, for reference, is the have Amuro destroy 6 enemy units within 4 turns, is unlocking the ability to recruit 87 Amuro, who might actually be worth it. I forgot to look at his stats when we were looking at other stuff.
Yeah.
87 Amuro might be worth it. CCA Amuro, who is again a separate recruitable, may be worth it. CCA Char is actually almost certainly worth it.
CCA would be after double Zeta?
Yes. CCA takes place in 93, if I recall correctly.
I imagine this game's order.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mean 1993. I mean 0093.
Yeah, I know.
The game goes in chronological order
Yeah.
outside of the 1 Year War, which is all kind of jumbled because it's all taking
I was
place
more
around
wondering if
the
there's
same time.
anything in between the two, but
No. What we have now is sort of a straight shot through of animes. We are doing Zeta, then Double Zeta, then Char's Counterattack, then Unicorn, and then Hathaway's Flash, which at the time was not anime, but is now being done as a series of films on Netflix that are really fucking amazing. Good lord, go watch Hathaway.
Yep.
Hathaway is out fucking standing.
The best representation of a giant robot fight in the city.
When you are not in the robot.
When you are not in the robot.
Not just in Gundam, in anime, there are very few instances there are very few instances I can think of that better express pants shitting terror than that sequence.
oh yeah, other observations from this series. People really like to get out of their suits for some stupid reason.
That's
Used
not
to
just
that.
this series.
I know, but
That's not
That's
just a Zeta
Gundam.
thing.
I know, but especially Camille and whoever Camille is talking to.
Yes.
Camille, for some reason, has the new type power estrogen disruption field. There is not a female character in this show, or practically no female character in the show with a name that does not interact with him on significant levels.
Okay, in fairness, Camille is not the new type with the estrogen disruption field.
No, that's a skeezy field. That's different.
Okay, Camille's is not an intentional estrogen disruption field.
And that field doesn't
That's why I
just
call it an estrogen disruption field.
And that field doesn't just disrupt estrogen.
Fair.
That's the sexual vampire field. Thank you very much. It affects everyone.
Not magic, he's just a moody as shit teenager.
I mean, you say that. I will point out, of all UC Gundam protagonists, Camille is the one halfway through the series, he straightens the fuck up.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he does.
He's the one who suddenly starts being like to other people, like, knock that the fuck off. This is serious.
You know, Camille shows a very large amount of growth in this series.
Yeah, that's-
which I really like.
He shows a large amount of growth, and interestingly enough, is probably the least soldier of any of these characters.
Yes, that is the other thing I will definitely give credit to Zeta for. Again, not my favorite series, and Camille is not my favorite UC protag. He is definitely the one that undergoes the best character arc across their series.
Yeah, it's actually kind of a parallel of him and Jared, where he's going through a positive character arc and Jared's going through a negative one.
Jared is slowly descending into nothing but obsessive vengeance.
Well, he initially thinks himself the hero working for the good guys, and eventually goes into fuck it, might makes right. I want to kill Camille.
Yes, Jared does have one incredibly brief "Are we the baddies?" moment, and then realizes, yes, we are, and I'm totally okay with that.
Not in any way that is fun, unlike Yazan.
Yes. Yazan is well aware. Yazan is well aware of being the baddie the entire time and gets off on it. You will be glad to know if you do choose to continue.
I'll finish the series this week.
Well, if you continue into Double Zeta, Yazan returns in Double Zeta.
Oh, great.
And literally, so like all of Yazan's existence within Double Zeta is being pissed off at the kids fucking up his shit all the time. And has another dude that's with him called Gamon. They are basically like, after the events of Zeta, like Yazan basically gets like drummed out of the military, and because almost everybody involved in the Titans does. And ends up,
I'm surprised Yazan isn't drummed out of the Titans at a certain point, but
and essentially becomes like effectively like a junk scavenger / gun for hire type dude, and all of his plans constantly go wrong. And so over time, there's this like buddy cop thing that happens with Yazan and Gemon, where they're just like constantly trying to do all these schemes and nothing ever goes right for them. And it's all kind of happening in background, like B plots during episodes and stuff.
yeah.
So there's also a side series of stuff that are SD Gundam shows that are like various different like little like sort of episodic like OVA specials here and there that were for like VHS releases or whatever, just to like fill a couple extra minutes or whatever. And at one point they did a straight up SD Gundam wacky races, and Yazan, Gable, and Gamon are Dick Dastardly and Muttley, complete with Gamon literally wearing like a fake dog nose. And it is possibly the single funniest thing in all of Gundam. No, legitimately, Yazan Gable may be one of my favorite characters in all of Gundam, just because he is so absolutely relishes in every moment of being the most wild man motherfucker on the field.
He is unsubtle about who he is.
And also being explicitly based off of Sting as Phaedra Alpha from David Lynch's Dune.
Yeah.
That's not even like an assumption. That's been outright stated. That's what his character design was based on.
That makes perfect sense, actually. Let's see. Other things about the series that are more on the interesting side, and something I probably would have noticed in 79 if it hadn't been incredibly long, or remembered from 79 if it hadn't been an incredibly long time. There is a lot of hitting soldiers as military discipline in this series.
The standard of military discipline in the Federation is corporal punishment.
Yeah. This does have an interesting parallel, and probably is mainly from the perspective of the maker of the series, because that's not really military discipline even around the World War II era within most armies, with the notable exception of the Japanese army.
Yep.
So it actually kind of is like one of those interesting... The only reason it's like this is because of the maker being Japanese themselves, and this is their military experience type of thing, to some extent.
Actually, interestingly enough, Tomino was well aware of the fact that was pretty unique to the Japanese military. Tomino has actually written books on like military history.
Oh, okay.
He is actually a like scholar and a researcher of military history.
So
He's super into it.
It was an
intentional choice.
Got it.
Because again, especially 0079, the 1 Year War stuff, was intended as kind of an explicit excoriation of people that glorified Japan's military history, particularly during World War II.
Which is another thing with Zeta, because they treat Zeon as the pieces of shit that they were in the first series. Even every Space Noid in the series is basically comparing the Titans to Zeon as an insult.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No. Zeta does not pull words. Zeta is not like, oh well, I mean, it's fine. They're like, no, Zeon fucking sucked.
Yeah.
And again, part of that is specifically intentional, because one of the things that bothers Tomino the most about the entirety of UC Gundam is how much people like glorify and side with Zeon, and he's like, you missed the point so fucking hard. And that was even happening before like Zeta aired in 85. Like, people were sympathizing with the Zeon side and basically being like, well, Zeon was right. They were fighting for the freedom of space. So it's just like, no, they weren't.
Zeon were fighting for the Zabi family to enrich themselves.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, that's also why Tomino has a immense problem with a lot of side story content of Gundam, and in general intentionally did his best anytime Tomino would come back to actually write or direct a particular like anime thing within Gundam, thereby formalizing it as full canon. He would do his best to make as much side story content as possible no longer actually possible to be canon, because he wanted to eliminate, because again, especially surrounding the 1 Year War era, so much side story content is those, ragtag band of Zeon soldiers that are truly noble souls and, really do believe in, space noid freedom and blah, 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 and just happen to get roped in and don't realize the true evils of Zeon. And he's like, no, most people in Zeon were totally aware and complicit with what was actually going on.
Yeah, because it would be hard not to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you gassed a colony and dropped it on the planet. This is as one of your opening moves.
The colony was secret.
In fairness, yes, gassing the colony is not actually public knowledge. Even the people that delivered the gas to the colony were told that all civilians were evacuated from that colony already, and that the only people remaining there were military.
Notwithstanding the fact that gassing military hasn't been acceptable in warfare since our era, or since well before our era. It's like,
I mean, again, that's the thing, is that's again, all bets are kind of off within this. They had to re-sign a treaty to agree to not use nuclear weapons against each other.
Granted.
Like,
Also, what isn't space suits standard issue for military in this universe pretty much, especially when going on the
normal suits are, but only if you're on and like actively on a warship. If they were based in a colony, you're not going to be going around wearing your normal suit.
But if they did evacuate, I guess if they weren't expecting a gas attack.
Yeah,
but
we're not
like
expecting a
there
gas
are a
attack.
lot. It's just there are a lot of spacesuits running around. It's like gas attack. Gas attacks on the unaware would obviously work, but gas attacks on like military who are expecting attack does seem.
That's the thing, though, that they weren't expecting the attack.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole thing, is that the particular colony they used for Operation British was extremely far away from the front lines.
Yeah.
Like, there was, like, it would be totally understandable from a military perspective to be told, like, yes, they evacuated all the civilians from that colony to repurpose it entirely for military purpose, but they have no idea that we're going to be launching an attack against it. They would never expect us. Zeon forces are nowhere near this colony. We're going to have basically a single ship. It was literally Simagaro's Marines on a single ship, slipped in, snuck on, and attached the gas canisters, and fucked off. They would be absolutely believable from a certain perspective to be like, if you were told, like, yeah, they have no idea we're coming, it's all military targets, it would be completely believable in this instance. It just so happens that they were, obviously completely being fucking lied to.
Yeah. But yeah, the only real use of gas weapons in this universe seems mostly to be to go after civilian targets in the first place.
Pretty much.
Because it's not like you can use them against a warship or a Gundam, because what the fuck is it going to do? And granted, this is pretty standard procedure for the Titans. Which was established before even this episode.
Yeah.
It was established like 5 episodes in. It's like, here's a colony they gassed. What?
The Titans are truly fucking horrific, and it is kind of baffling that they get away with so much shit, and apparently nobody seems to fucking notice most of the time.
It is actually kind of, to draw another World War II parallel, because why not, going over like a now completely debunked doctrine of basically demoralizing the populace by usually bombing cities, etc., in order to try and bring about the end of a war, which, as it turns out, it generally does the exact opposite and galvanizes
them as be like, fuck those guys, they blew up our city. Yeah.
Yeah. This was not a... This was pretty much debunked thanks to World War II, but this did lead to stuff like the firebombings of London and
Dresden,
or firebombings of Dresden, the bombings of London, the firebombings of Tokyo. It took a lot more. It did a lot more damage on the Axis powers like Germany and Japan, quite simply because there was more aerial superiority over them for a longer period of time. It's not like the other one. It's not like this wasn't reciprocated both ways.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that the Titans specifically are the ones doing that, i.e. the ones that are on the Alliance's or
the Federation.
Federation side, which I could say is a parallel of the Alliance side during World War II, but is kind of off on that respect too.
Yeah, again, the whole thing is that there's very blurred lines. Both sides have aspects of, both the Federation and Zeon have aspects of Imperial Japan, the Allies, and Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
They are definitely not intended to be direct parallels. They are intended to, if at best, be... If they are a parallel to anything, they are a parallel to just the military culture of the era, not necessarily one side or the other.
Which again, also considering the fact that this still takes place in a universe that has our history, makes the Titans that much worse, because they should know by now this isn't actually an effective tactic. But that's another matter entirely. Back to the whole, they are Saturday morning cartoon villains.
I mean, A, they are Saturday morning cartoon villains. B, it's... So because there's a little bit of fuzziness to the actual timeline, there's definite implication that, like, Universal Century Year Zero is so far in the future that a lot of the details have just kind of been lost to time.
time and cultural noise to some extent.
Basically.
Because
Like not as in like, oh, it's prehistory, like the records don't exist, but more, yeah, the sense of like nobody like actively studies that era anymore. I'm trying to remember.
they basically get the footnotes of history. It's like us in like the Roman era or something. Except,
Yeah.
while they do have all the details lying around, how long are you going to actually spend on that?
Yeah, there is a point where I believe it is Giran Zabi says something along the lines of, "Ah, yes, the Hitler. I very much like his ideas," or something like that. It's like
it's specifically he brings up the quote unquote medieval dictator Adolf
Yes.
Hitler, and says directly to his son, "You remind me of him," and.
yeah, Degin Zabi basically says that Giran reminds him of Hitler.
And Kieran takes it as a compliment.
Yeah, he's like, "Ah, yes, the Hitler. I very much like his ideals."
Yes. Because we got tired of all other forms of unsubtlety and just decided to make the direct one-to-one comparison.
I mean,
Hey, you had 50 episodes. At a certain point, you had to drop everything.
I mean, let's be real here. The subtlety was dropped way earlier than that at Garma's funeral when fucking Giran Zabi stands at a podium in front of the massed ranks of Zeon soldiers yelling "Sieg Zeon" as they throw Roman salutes at him.
Yes.
Yes.
Like,
Like-
don't get me wrong.
As-
They weren't being subtle before, but there's being unsubtle, and then there's that.
There's a brick through the window.
Exactly.
The non-Roman Roman salute.
Yes.
To be even more ironic, this was just something made up by a French artist, by the way.
Correct. Yes,
For it to be even stupider.
Yes, I call it the Roman salute because that is what it
That's
is
what it's
called.
called, but yeah.
It is not actually the salute they used in Rome. More accurately, the actual salute used by Rome was just a fist across the chest over the heart.
Yeah.
In any actual records we have of anything involving like Roman military practice or doctrine, that is the only record we have of an actual salute used by Roman military. And even then, it's entirely possible that was only used by certain forces.
Yeah. A lot of that era is lost to history. Effectively.
That is specifically, we know, used by Caesar's forces during the Gallic Wars. We have no idea if it was used anywhere else by any other forces, or even if it was used by Caesar's forces in any other conflict.
Yeah.
There's 6 goes on, bro. Time to go nuts.
Yep.
It would not be unreasonable to assume, especially afterwards, that it was used, but yeah, it's...
Yeah.
And absent anything else, it works.
Yep.
But yeah. For if you were making media and had to fill in with something. I remember who was piloting
Erictius.
Erictius.
Yes, he pilots Erictius during this point.
Yeah, okay. A red color Erictius.
Yes.
But I think they just give him a paint job at a certain point.
There is actually a specific line of Rictius Reds. Like that. That's actually
Okay,
it is a specific variant of the
Okay.
Rictius. Yeah, that's not like a Char make my Rictius red thing or anything like that. It is one of the standard colors for a particular Rictius type is just a red Rictius.
Not that Char is doing a great job of hiding his identity in this entire series in the first place,
What are you talking
or
about?
trying that hard.
That's not Char, that's Quattro Vagina. He knew Char, though. Char was a pretty cool guy.
Strictly speaking, everybody in Aug Command knows explicitly that it is Char and is basically just also maintaining the Quattro Vagina thing.
Camille also subconsciously basically knows it is
Camille
Char,
figured it out
but
very
yeah.
quickly. Camille figured it out very quickly and just kind of did the same sort of wink, wink, nudge, nudge bit.
There's a little bit of that, and there's a
Right
little
up until the point where he's like, no, you don't get to fucking do that anymore.
bit. Yeah.
Well, like,
There's a little bit of
brought
that,
it
and there's a
up
little
in-
bit of Camille through the series kind of has more knowledge about the people around him than he should because his new type powers are kind of on the bullshit level.
Yes.
Well, okay, all new type powers from this point on get to be on the bullshit level.
I mean, even by new
Vector
type.
or
Even
another.
by the
Well,
standards of
yes,
new
but
type
this is
powers.
explicitly some ghost leaned over and whispered something in Camille's ear.
Yeah.
Because that's what most of Camille's power manifestation actually is communicating
because
with the
that's-
dimension of
But
ghosts.
that's because every new type is some different flavor of mage. And Camille just happens to be a necromancer. Among other things. But no, like, they even cover it in the mission we're doing here. Where, like, Camille knows about Char Aznable, but he doesn't put it together that that's Char Aznable until Amuro Ray shows up and starts calling him Char.
No, Camille knows that it's Char well before that. He
Yeah.
just doesn't say anything because he is intelligent enough to realize, like, they're obviously not saying it for a fucking reason. He's pretty well fucking aware that Quattro is Char. At least not, if not explicitly, he at least is like...
I don't think the first few times they were... Well, I don't think when they first met, per se.
No,
but,
he didn't
like,
immediately know, but he eventually was
he
like...
figured it out pretty early.
As soon as Quattro starts saying stuff like, well, no, but I knew Char, and it's like, if Char were here, he would probably say this. Camille's like, for fuck's sake, dude, I'm not like 8.
I mean, he's like 15, but...
Yeah. The quarter was in your palm the whole time. You didn't pull it from behind my fucking ear. Knock it off.
You did not detach your thumb from your hand.
Talking about. I destroyed 0 or more enemy units.
Yes? Can I not destroy 0 or more enemy units?
Yeah, so the thing about the Rictius explicitly is the initial, like, standard colors for the Rictius were like a, you know, like blue and red. They had almost like Dom colors, actually. Quattro had his made red. After Quattro had his made red, that actually became the standard color for the Rictius.
Okay, so that makes sense. It also helps hide the fact that it's Char. If all of them are red.
I mean, Char wasn't the only one with a red paint scheme.
Yeah, there's Johnny Red. The Crimson Light.
Like, interestingly enough, there is a semi-apocryphal thing about Char's initial red suits, at least, in that this is of, like, questionable canonicity because it comes up in stuff that may or may not still actually be canon. But when Char is first, like, fielding in a Zaku 2, the particular Zaku 2 he's fielding in is essentially still basically being made. And so, like, the final paint job hasn't actually been applied yet. And that, like, salmon and red color scheme it has is literally just the primer. And he's like, fuck it, I've got a field anyways. Like, just fuck off. Like, we don't have time to wait for this to be painted. I'm just getting in and going. And then, like, that became, like, iconic to him being in, like, the red suit. And so that just became a thing. Again, somewhat...
From who?
Yeah. Again, somewhat apocryphal at this point because the content that's from is of questionable canonicity, but...
I'm not sure if they're going for UFO or Zeppelin with the suit.
Oh,
That
for
inexplicably
the
flies
action mark?
in yeah.
It's absolutely intended to be like a UFO.
That inexplicably flies in atmosphere, but
Yeah, but no, the Ajmar is explicitly designed to look like a UFO.
and hello, person in chat.
Yeah. I should probably get that pulled up. Being lazy. I didn't feel like
Awesome.
popping it out.
Random prototype ash.
Ah,
Also, the sky.
also, unsurprisingly, they look better, but.
Yeah, thank you for the follow. Very vaguely hear the Dracula Perfect selection music in the background.
Yes.
I'll have to fuck around with the volume on that at some point.
Well, that was a position it decided to have.
Well, I couldn't get anyone else up here. Damn ship is in the way.
Ah, it is literally in the same position.
Yes. Uh-oh.
Oh! Well, they made a mistake, didn't they?
Well, there goes those
Yep.
bonus units.
Where is anything else up here?
Downwise.
Okay.
That's too... So close.
Yeah.
Aha!
Hey,
Ah.
there's actually technically a reason for some degree of overkill. Up to a
more points.
up to a certain point, we get more money for it.
Well, that solves a lot of problems.
Punch.
俺の目からは逃げられんぞ
I don't have to kill Burn with anyone in particular, do I?
No.
Is there anyone left on the ground?
No.
Okay.
The ground is clear.
So it's basically clear the air, and you already have both the Deep Striker and the Neo Zeong up there, so yeah.
Yeah.
The choice.
Yeah, I think they did. Both the Neo Zeong and the Deep Striker are fairly crazy looking suits. One is a mobile armor that is worn by a mobile suit. The other one is just let's strap a bunch of guns to a thing.
It's technically like the back end of a battleship shoved up the ass of the front end of a mobile suit. Is basically what the Deep Striker is. They basically put a battleship cannon and thrusters on the XS Gundam.
Cannon thrusters and radome.
Yeah. Because they were like, we need the XS Gundam to be over there yesterday.
That was the whole plan, dude.
And then they were
Launch directly out of Space Fortress, fly past all its defenses, blow it up, and leave.
Yeah.
before they could react. And then they were like, no, wait, this is stupid.
And then that never occurred.
That being said, neither of these is half as dumb as most of the Advance of Zeta designs. Advance of Zeta stuff is extremely just, what if we just, like, super teched Gundam? Okay, what if we made a Gundam so big that it just deploys Kehars from its big back unit? It just literally has racks along the back of it that have 6 other mobile suits.
So it's basically just a carrier. Except it's a mobile suit.
It's what if the Deep Striker, in addition to all its gnarly shit, also just had 6 kind of Ajimar-esque suits to deploy? Because, like, quite literally, the thing it drops are the prototype Ajimar TR3 Kehars. Because, you know, Watership Down characters.
Does not have mid-air
Yeah, I'm good
capabilities.
with mid-air.
Yeah.
Bye.
And nobody dealt with the ship.
All right, one Isaac. You got this.
I'm gonna get him.
Well, that was your best move. Congratulations.
I mean, you did not choose incorrectly. Unfortunately, it will not save you.
Fair enough.
We can respect it, but you're still gonna die.
Unfortunately, we have to kill all units in order to clear this mission. Otherwise, you know what? You get to live.
All right, technically speaking, we just have to hold off 2 more turns.
Ah.
We're still going to kill him. But
We could, like, strictly speaking, do some nonsense that involves, like, surrounding him entirely down here, and then also surrounding the area he could ascend to in the sky map, so that he just, like, can do nothing but descend and ascend in place. But, like, that's a lot of effort, man.
yeah.
We just go fucking blow his ass up.
And now to pass the turn twice.
Yep.
Truly the most time-consuming part. Watching your ships gain back energy. Oh, there we go. Something. You sent 6 Hyzacs.
Yep. Yeah, they did. Last stand.
So if you ever want to know how truly ludicrous Advance of Zeta shit gets, this is technically a Gundam.
Does that transform, or is it just literally
No,
a spaceship?
no, that's just what that is.
What's that called?
That is the RX-123 Gundam TRS Rab Scuttle.
Okay, then.
Advance of Zeta is weird.
That literally looks like it's just transformed.
Yeah, no. That is the partner unit to the stupid diaper baby Gundam.
Oh,
Okay.
The RX-123 Gundam TRS El Ferra, which genuinely looks like a fucking Gundam.
Such devastation! This was not my
But yes, the El Ferra, which looks like the Gundam is a baby in one of those stupid little jumper things you hang from a door frame. It is a tandem unit with the Rab Scuttle, which,
Wait.
yes, just looks like a fucking spaceship.
Does it ride on it? Does it become actual fucking legs?
No, it's an escort unit. They don't combine or anything.
Oh,
They
God.
just, in much the same way that like the 4th and 5th Gundam were designed to work together,
Yeah.
the Rab Scuttle and the El Ferra are designed to work together. That being said, the El Ferra is actually, again, very much in the same sense that like the Neo Zeong is a thing being effectively piloted by another Gundam. The El Ferra is technically the Gundam TRS Hazel Flare in like a big add-on unit.
Just basically there's a bunch of stuff strapped on top of it, effectively. I hope.
Well, no, so I'm talking about the El Ferra, which is the big
Yeah.
diaper baby, not the spaceship.
Yeah,
The
that's
spaceship is its own thing. And no, it's literally just kind of sitting in there.
Yeah, okay.
It is basically piloting that thing like a little walk, like a fucking Mega Man walker.
that one suit gets to live.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends this was a bad idea.
see if it actually is worth picking up. Also, those are the cars.
Yeah. So those are literally the thing that one other unit literally drops, like just has 6 of on racks on the back end of it.
Ah.
We're gonna secure the other one, or
I just want to leave it here.
hooray! We have those are specifically the prototype Azumar Kahars, because there also is a Gundam Kahar. Yes, we have we have some more Advance of Zeta stuff now, meaning we can go back into that batshit insane tech tree.
Oh, he has leader stuff.
Yeah.
Bats aren't bad.
Yeah, and his reaction, his base ranged and reaction are fucking nightmarish. I think if I remember correctly, we were looking at possibly replacing Team Mom at some point, just because she has like no awakened and her stats were going to kind of drop off eventually and doesn't really have much other than teamwork as far as actual leader stuff, so.
Actually, she has a bunch of leader stuff.
We just didn't turn her on, yeah. Yeah, but I would still say it's probably worth it swapping her out for Zeta Amuro. Because we definitely do want him to be in a leader spot. Oh boy.
Yes, we will swap.
Yeah, because it would realistically be like either her or Ramzad, and Ramzad is actually just better as a leader.
So, do they just give you some characters from some series automatically to buy, or?
Yes, there is a default set of characters that are unlocked as recruitable at the very beginning. It's not a whole lot of them, and they're all mostly garbage. All of the G-Gen original characters you start with already. You don't even have to recruit them. They are just in your pool.
And they have some defaults from the series that are in the game.
Yes, but those are specifically you do have. There are no actual Gundam characters you already start with having recruited. You have to go to the thing and actually spend money to recruit them.
Yeah, but you don't actually have to unlock some of them, is what I'm saying.
No.
Yeah.
But again, the ones that you don't have to unlock are fucking garbage.
Yeah. They're meant to be filler until you actually get better pilots.
Yeah, if anything, the ones that you have to unlock are actually just worse than the G-Gen originals usually.
Oh, the 4 plot line.
Yep. We do have Zero sitting around in our recruitment pool. We did recruit him at one point. Yeah, that's not some like translation thing or anything, by the way. They literally just named the experiments of the Murasame labs numerically.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We made cyber new types, and we decided to name them numbers because we're not even trying to be subtle.
Not the first time.
Also, you're not the 4th one, you're the 5th.
Yeah, there's a 0.
No, we start counting at 0.
Yes, they did start counting at 0, and it's 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
She is the 5th one, not the 4th one.
You might not know that. Quite frankly, she doesn't know much.
They don't talk about 0.
Yeah.
It's not the only instance of cyber new types being named by, number.
Yes. Put it 12.
The Perus, yeah. Put it 2, put it 10.
Although, notably, that's even more horrifying than Murasame Labs. Murasame Labs is at least like, oh, we have these like people that we just kind of fucked with them and like turned them into cyber new types. Not we have this like 10-year-old girl that we've cloned and intentionally head fucked all the clones.
フォー、君は戦っちゃいけない。フォー、わかるか？僕はカミーユだ。私は記憶が欲しいの。自分のことをもっと知りたい。なら戦うのをやめるんだ。カミーユは私のことを知った。
Series 4 appears twice in this series, and there's a significant separation. I'm going to just assume they're going to condense both appearances into one.
Probably. If anything, it'll probably be pre-event, like pre-mission and main mission. Who knows?
その言葉を信じてカミーユと敵対するフォー。一度は心を触れ合った恋人たちの戦い。だが戦いの中でフォーはカミーユの優しさに次第に自分の過去から解放されていった。過去の記憶よりも新しい思い出。
Yeah, like that being said, Zero Murasame may technically be the first cyber new type.
アウド村に特攻をかけるスードリへと乗り込んだ。
It's not entirely clear.
輸送機スードリにはシャトル用のブースターが備えられている。このブースターを利用すればカミーユを空へと返すことができる。
Okay, I think they're just narrating the first
必死
part.
の思いでブースターを操作するフォーのもとへ事態を察知したベン・ウッダーが迫っていた。
私にはわかる。カミーユは私を空に連れて行ってくれる。カミーユ、スードリのブースターで空へ帰る。
何をしている？ブースターは敵のとどめに使うんだ。触るな。
カミーユ、これで空へ。
貴様、作り物のニュータイプは頭をぶち抜かれても動くの
And
か。
stop breaking them, dumbasses.
They're pretty much broken from Go.
恋人たちの儚い夢は空へと消えた。シンデレラの魔法が切れたフォー。カミーユの思いが届いたのであろう。戦いの波はカミーユに悲しみすら与えず容赦なく押し寄せ、そして再び空へ。戦いはまだ終わる。
And yeah, that is
How it deals with 4.
well, no,
Well,
like
that's the first part. She's not dead after that.
yeah, but like within series, that's pretty much the point where Camille is just like, no, you don't get to pretend like this war doesn't involve you anymore, Char.
Look, it's Mr. Scirocco, a perfectly normal character.
This man is skeeziness incarnate.
Just because he has sexual vampire powers.
No,
No, you cannot trust him. You are wrong, Hamaiken.
The first person I've ever met that didn't make fun of my tiny face. I love him.
Sarah's Zabino.
You know what
And
the,
there's Sarah, who exists to show exactly how skeezy Sirocco is.
you know what honestly the worst part is? Glemmy is still worse than Paptimus Scirocco.
Paptimus Scirocco has weird sexual vampire powers. We accept that he has some sort of weird new type field that just makes him skeezy and people around him. Glemmy chooses to be skeezy. Excessively so. That's why when Glemmy gets his comeuppance, it's great. Not quite as great as the comeuppance that Paptimus is going to get,
No.
but Glemmy gets a pretty good comeuppance as well. Since they probably won't show it, Glemmy just gets hit by a beam.
Yeah.
Like, he gets out of his cockpit
Like,
to talk
in
to
person.
someone, and they shoot him directly with a beam rifle.
Yeah, I do not believe they give Glemmy the treatment in this game that they did give Cassilia earlier. Where they actually have the like ship on map and you see the little flash and the beam fired through the cockpit of the ship. I think they pull that exactly once, and it is exactly the one time they needed to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if we kill Glemmy, just going to be destroy the liquid mantle.
But yes, it is. I would really have to think on it. Glemmy may be the character I hate the most out of all of UC Gundam.
He's really shit.
He's really bad.
Yeah. Patmus has some sort of weird, Patmus clearly has an underage girl that he's into, and she's into him, and it's kind of creepy. He didn't make a bunch of 10-year-old clones that implied he also has sex with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be worse.
Broken clones.
Yeah, it's like Glemmy is distinctly worse. He's just less overt, I guess is the best way, in that he doesn't fly around pointing at everything with ovaries going, "Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me."
Yeah, the problem is that they wouldn't fuck Glemmy, so he had to make his own.
Yeah. No, you don't. We don't need it.
Like, Patmus Rocco at least has, some level of charisma?
Yeah, at least in the way he acts, it's like, yes, he is skeevy and, uses effectively new type pheromone powers. But it's also implied that he's not just using the women, he does, genuinely, take care of them and, like an actual harem, not the popularized image of a harem.
Yeah.
Where it's just no, I have my. It's almost like, and this is obviously a significantly less skeevy version, but it's Naze Turban from IBO, where it's literally no, these are my women. They are mine, but they're, other than the fact that they are mine, they're kind of free to do what they want. Just as long as they accept that they are going to gradually have to, die for me in combat.
I think they're even allowed to leave if they want.
Yeah, they just never want to. I don't know why. Emits more new type pheromones.
Well, no, but that, I mean, for Naze Turban.
Oh, yeah, for Naze Turban, yes.
Yeah, for Patmus Rocco.
I don't think he would stop them from leaving. He just, they're not going to because they're fucking brainwashed by new type pheromone shit.
Can you destroy these two people in the same turn?
Okay, so we are on scenario 4.
So the Jared. Yeah.
I believe all the missions for scenario 4 are main map. Let me see. Yes, because there's obviously the one that's just clear. There is the one that is explicitly switch Camille to the Zeta Gundam and have him defeat Jared while Moar is still alive, which is main map.
That makes sense.
And there is destroy at least 2 nuclear pulse engines within 4 turns. Which again is main map because the nuclear pulse engines aren't on here.
I completely forgot we had other units on this map.
Yep.
Well, yeah, we have the ever-important Methus. And also, Fa is probably about to die.
Oh, he's probably about to die.
It's the most important mobile suit in Ayug's arsenal. You have to make sure this Methus reaches the Argama. They'll be doomed without it.
In truth, the Argama really does need every mobile suit it can get, but...
Not the Methus. The Methus never helps.
In fairness, look who pilots it.
They could give it to fucking Quattro and it still wouldn't help. It's the Methus.
Actually, I think the Zeta thing might be here.
Possibly?
Considering that's a Zeta.
Yeah, I'm just... The notes on this do specifically say applies to main mission map, but... Then again, the notes on this are sometimes incorrect, so... Basically, whenever we get the opportunity to switch Camille into the Zeta, that's almost certainly what it's applying to.
It's probably just a good idea anyways.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that it's not a thing we can just, like, do when we want to. It is specifically a... There will be a trigger to do it.
Is there a place to put these suits where they aren't going to die horribly?
Back?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, I will not entirely discredit your point. Fa Yuri is a shit pilot, but
Yeah.
but again, you could literally put Amuro fucking Ray in the Methus, and it still would be garbage. It's the Methus. There's a definite reason they were like, cool, we got the transformation system working. Stop working on that piece of shit. We have more important things to do, like, I don't know, file paperwork.
It was kill Jared while she's still on the map?
Yes.
What's her name? Girlfriend number 2?
Yes, more.
Or, yeah.
But it is specifically switch Camille to the Zeta Gundam and have him defeat Jared while Mora is alive. Let me pull up the AT wiki and see if it has anything more instructive, which is a funny thing to say considering it's going to be a Japanese wiki translated through Google Translate, but...
Hello. Hold off.
Well,
Oh, never mind.
Right, this time around, remember that they're back there on turn 1, I guess?
Saw nothing.
now
No, it is main battle.
Okay.
so not this one.
Yeah. Yeah, because Jared and Moar are in the main map as well.
私足手まといになんかならないわ。まさかこんなことになるなんて。このままやらせるものですか。
マーク2回
新型だからって。
その声は神優か。
Camille, let's get outside of our ships and talk to each other.
No, that's mainly just pilots. Jared just goes full hate boner.
Not yet.
At this point, like, okay, it's like a half.
No, he doesn't go full hate boner until Moar dies. That's
true.
the last straw for Jared.
Yeah.
That's when Jared just finally realizes I'll never get to have a girlfriend until Camille Baton is dead.
そんなに焦らなくてもすぐ落としてあげれば。そうやすやすとやられるわけにはいかない。
Hooray, you can retreat slightly further.
You can safely attack him out of range, so.
Yeah.
You get.
Yeah.
That's right, it was defeat both of them in the same turn. Yeah.
Total concern still.
Yeah, still destroy all enemy units for the actual, like, map transition.
Why do you show a leader zone if none of you actually have? Well, it's like so this area when you like gather over.
Yeah.
It's typically a leader zone.
I believe it's because each of them is considered an independent unit.
And
So they are all technically the leader of their own group.
Units. Shit. Like you could do group attacks if you're in the group attack or in the leader area.
In the leader area with
but they
your
have
leader.
to be part of your group.
Ah.
And I guess it's treat them each as their own individual
Groups, so none of them, yeah.
Can actually group attack, yeah. I would like to take this opportunity to point out that when I pulled up the AT Wiki page for this particular scenario and did the translation to be able to, at least somewhat parse what it was saying, it did choose to translate the name of this particular scenario as Colony Falling Day, and I think that's probably the worst holiday on the calendar. Celebrate Colony Falling Day by blowing up the nearest Australian. Find your nearest Irish pub and crash a plane into it. Dublin Square. Well, that's an unfortunate name choice. Hey, Llama.
Hello.
Look, it's not my fault they dropped a colony on Dublin.
Did drop a colony on Dublin after they gave it to Hamon because they're a bunch of fucking dumbasses.
Didn't even really do much. It just kind of landed gently. Sort of stopped. That last Marsai pilot there deserved it. He couldn't hit the fucking Argama. It's not even a particularly mobile warship.
No.
No.
It also doesn't even have the anti-air defenses that the white base has.
It's not like a Salamis that can do sharp 90-degree turns in space and fuck off.
In fairness, it shouldn't actually be hard to do a sharp 90-degree turn in space.
Not this way. So there is a point in the actual like anime for Igloo wherein there's like a space battle going on, and it genuinely looks like somebody was like, it was like in like, you know, Maya or Blender or whatever, and somebody just grabbed the thing and just rotated and pulled upwards.
Just like totally unnatural floaty movement.
Like MS Igloo as a whole has not aged terribly well, just because it's like early 2000s CGI to begin with. But most of it is like acceptable as like when you come into it as like it's early 2000s CGI. I know what I'm getting into. That particular one, I think we had to stop watching for a solid 5 minutes because we were going lightheaded from laughing so hard. It's like, no, you are correct. Like, strictly speaking, for an actual like spaceship, like in that situation, like there shouldn't really actually be much preventing from doing like an actual just like 90-degree turn in space and fucking off. But not like that. Not on a fucking pivot point.
As a matter of fact, considering there's basically no up to space, battles in space should look like a complete and total mess with ships going in every direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Some series actually even address this, particularly IBO, where they fuck around with it a lot. Because Tekadon is just like, we don't have to stay in the same orientation as the other ships. Like, we can flip upside down relative to them and fucking skim them.
It's basically like one of the two ways I've seen space combat done. The other one is far more interesting and extremely less action-y, which is basically like effectively submarine battles.
Yes. I don't know, my favorite is still the Wing Commander movie where the starfighters drop off for some reason after they launch out of the hangar.
How?
Because it's so like they were basing it on like actual like fighter jets taking off from like an aircraft carrier, where that is a thing that happens. Yes. They reach the end of the aircraft carrier and they do drop for a second before they take off. But they do this in Wing Commander, and it is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in film, because they're in space and they launch out of the hangar bay and they reach the end of the hangar bay and the starfighter dips below the end of the hangar bay before then rocketing back up. And it's like, guys, come on. That being said, Gundam space battles do have a little bit of that sort of submarine battle aspect to them, specifically because of the whole like Minovsky particle radiation interference stuff. And the fact that everything is basically sight range only.
Yeah. And sight range in space, well, long is still kind of limited.
Yeah. And like they can't have any sort of like guided armaments or anything like that, because again, Minovsky radiation fucks with all of that.
Yeah.
So everything is dumbfire, basically.
Well, they can have guided stuff. It just has to be actual, like, wire guided.
Yes.
Which gives you a very limited range.
Much shorter range,
Yeah.
Like the early funnel type stuff, all the wire guided.
Well, yeah, all the wire guys. But I mean, like, they don't have, like, guided missiles. No. For instance, like, all like, missiles are basically dumbfire torpedoes.
Not a good reason why they can't have guided missiles, because you have the guidance system on the missile itself, but that's neither here nor there.
It is literally that, like, the guidance system, even on the missile, wouldn't know where the fuck the target is, because it interferes with...
If it can see the target with the camera, it would know where the target is.
Yeah, this was the 70s, man. They didn't...
They had 70s era computers to work with on these things. It's back to the whole trying to predict future technology.
Yeah, like if it were made now, you could absolutely justify it as like, no, like we have like camera guided missiles now and like drones and shit like that. But like in 1979, they would never be able to think of that shit. I will point out that the entire genre of cyberpunk took until the late 80s to be able to deal with the fact that like wireless communication technology was a thing which could exist.
In an era where wireless communication technology already existed.
Yeah. Well, just because by that time, so much of the tropes had been like solidified as like, oh, it's all this stuff, and you gotta like jack in and da-da-da, and it's like, dude, it's like we have cell phones.
Yeah.
They're not like great. They're huge fucking brick motherfuckers. But we have cellular communication technology. That being said, like,
It took
even
another couple decades before it really became a big thing, but yeah.
I mean, even something much more modern. Look at fucking Mega Man Battle Network, where it wasn't until like the third or fourth game where they acknowledged like, oh, you could actually have your like PET wirelessly jack into something.
Yeah.
And made ever more elaborate throws as to how to get that remote
Yes.
thing into the jack. Because it wasn't that things got wireless ports.
No, they
It was
had
that
you had a dongle that you could plug into things that would let you wirelessly
Wireless
connect.
dongle, yeah.
Yeah. That makes some amount of sense because you're trying to go into a specific system. It might. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, even still, like, I can get to that computer across the room from me has a Bluetooth antenna, which means I connect to that specific system. And even prior to Bluetooth, I could connect to that specific system's Wi-Fi signal. You
Yeah.
can do ad hoc networks. It's been a thing. Ad hoc networks existed before non-ad hoc networks did wirelessly.
Well, true. If you're actually trying to secure something, that's stuff you turn off or don't have as a feature. So, if you're trying to specifically get into something secure,
Yeah, I'm sure they were securing that bear statue in the park.
exactly. You know how important it is to secure bear statues.
Or
You
the
know how riddled with viruses that bear statue is?
Or like, you know, the
Well,
fucking
yeah, everyone puts what the hell they want. That more.
the fucking oven in my house.
The fact that the oven in your house has a Wi-Fi is more disturbing.
Everything's a smart device in the Battle Network universe.
I mean, you can get Wi-Fi ovens now, which
I would argue
is
that
still
depending
silly.
on what it is, it's not a smart device.
Doesn't the aesthetic of Gundam tech wall extra big and is at least somewhat justified because it's all the shielding from rusty particles.
Yeah.
So it doesn't like fry any electronics.
No, that is a valid point. It's like a lot of the bulk and like chunkiness of technology in Gundam is specifically to deal with the fact that Minovsky radiation just fucks everything electronic. So of course we flooded space with this shit.
We actively flood space when we get in combat.
Yep.
I also love how Camille just completely sees through Sarah. It's like you're transparent.
No, again, after the 4 shit, Camille's just like, I'm not putting up with anybody's shit anymore. After the initial stuff with former Asame goes down, Camille's just like, I'm done fucking playing.
Yeah. No, space radiation doesn't help the bones be bendy. It helps the bones, as a matter of fact, the exact opposite. It turns the bones into brittle glass.
And this isn't just regular space radiation. This is on top of the normal radiation that already exists in space. We developed these new special particles that let us do whatever the fuck we want with physics because we didn't feel like researching physics before we wrote this series.
Well, you know. Especially astrophysics, because astrophysics is hard.
The invention of physics just bought giant robots. That's pretty much it.
I don't know if I could pinpoint a specific person within Zeta Gundam as being the quote-unquote gay guy in this story. I will, however, say that everyone is Shiroko sexual.
Whether they want to be or not.
Everyone is gay, straight, whatever orientation is necessary to be sexually attracted to Paptimus Shiroko.
Yeah, it is more of a gravity-oriented thing when it comes to bone brittling. Space radiation just gives you cancer, really. But
Space radiation.
It's
does
our
just give you
boy.
cancer.
much like all other kinds of radiation, it just gives you cancer.
I don't know how he's your boy. but
Not
it's-
superpowers.
Everyone's favorite beast man.
お前らみんな潰してやるよ
This is a man who enjoys what he's doing.
I'm going to find a way to
Unsubtly.
physically fuck your robot.
It's on his fight section.
If you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
I would go further than that. Yazan is not fight sexual. Yazan is violence sexual.
Yes.
It doesn't even have to be a fight. It's just anything I can do to be as aggressive and raucous as possible gets me rock hard.
Oh, Power. You're the latest stuff shares. To be dead people.
Literally, I think in this
Yes,
part
this
of
is,
this
Die
issue.
in this event.
yes, this is specifically the reason why we have to take out Jared before Moar is so that we can have Moar's scene where she throws herself in front of Jared to take the fatal hit for him plays
やつはみんな灰にしてやる
They have to kill with
with the
Amuro?
with Camille.
Or not Amuro, Camille.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is explicitly switch Camille to the Zeta Gundam and have him defeat Jared while Moar is still alive.
Constant. Crazy head like lummies.
And then we also need to destroy at least 2 nuclear pulse engines within 4 turns to get the special challenge.
That'll be hard.
Destroy what within 4 turns?
The nuclear pulse engines.
Back on the bus. Wait, we don't have
None
to
of you
worry
need
about
to be
it.
out here. Go home. Help is not needed.
I will say, I find it highly amusing that the Methus is not marked as a vital unit for this fight. They fucking knew.
Never about it.
I think it actually gets blown apart, actually, in this.
Blown apart like half the battle six
It
ways.
gets
It
blown
is,
apart
but-
every time it is fielded. It loses at least a limb. It's the fucking Methus. They would have been. It would have been more effective in combat.
It repairs on a budget, apparently.
It would have been more.
Just like, hey, pop out another arm.
It would have been more effective in combat to literally send Fa Yuri out in her normal suit with a jetpack and a pistol.
Oh, hey, the Riders have the whole team on it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Says Emma.
Well, they're not be getting out.
Nope.
No.
Stay right here.
Yeah. All right, now to murder everything on the map, practically.
Out of my way. 4 turns, right?
That being said, we do, I believe, need to. No, we may be able to still do the Jared stuff. Just make sure to save before you do the second engine, just in case it does something that fucks up our ability to do the Jared stuff. I don't think it should, but
Like, I doubt he'll leave, so.
yeah, but it's very important that we unlock the ability to recruit Moar.
He could be a great pilot.
Her surname is Farrah, so we should
You
It's just
defeat, you destroyed 2 in 5 turns? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
They only did it on one side, though. Now it's just spinning in a circle.
Hey, how dare you not let us drop a colony on a civilian area?
Quick, spawn some more garbage. That'll stop them.
He's got all the
Yeah.
Camille already in the Zeta?
Yes.
Okay. In fairness, they let cats walk around unsupervised.
Do let cats walk around unsupervised.
We have a brig or a fucking dog cage we can shove him in.
Yes, that's the brig. Sort of got these ships are the size of a matchbox.
I mean, they're decently sized. Like I said, we've looked into it. They're like close to 300 meters long.
Yeah. But how big is the crew?
Some number? I mean, I don't think we ever get.
I don't think we ever actually have hard numbers for the crew of something like the Argama. We obviously only really point out notable characters.
Aw, here's cats doing something dumb.
I mean, that part's not wrong.
No shit.
What was your first clue? The fact that she was an enemy in an enemy uniform and came in an enemy suit? Hyzak cannon.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we have a specific number as far as like the full crew complement for an Argama class, but an Argama class is 341.7 meters in length, 124.1 meters wide, 76.5 meters tall in assault mode. So it's decently sized.
Yeah. That doesn't mean they didn't just build one room as the brig.
It is larger than a Nimitz class aircraft carrier.
In fair, it has to carry much bigger vehicles.
Fair.
Yeah. But far less of them.
Yes, considering
Definitely far less of them.
considering that the standard complement for an Argama is 8 mobile suits.
Yeah. Actually, considering the volume and considering exactly how much a Nimitz class, how many people a Nimitz class carrier actually carries, they should have a crap ton of room on that thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, also that being said, the other thing being is that the crew complement for ships in Gundam is also lessened because there's a lot of automation and stuff like that as well.
There's a lot of automation. There's also only 6, to take care of, honestly.
8, but yeah.
Yeah, or 8. Okay.
Like engineering, like mechanics crew wise, we know they typically have maybe about a dozen or so mechanics, usually led by a mechanic chief, in this case, Ostanage.
Yeah.
Like we basically have, we pretty regularly see inside the hangar, and the mechanics crew always wears like a different colored jumpsuit, so we have a pretty good idea of how many of them there are.
Yeah.
It usually takes 4 to 6 people to perform maintenance on a given suit at a time, but they do not have a full complement to be able to maintain every suit aboard a ship all at the same time. There is, of course, some degree of narrative convenience there in the sense that, like, yes, the Argama class technically has a complement of 8 mobile suits. It also carries whatever mobile suits are narratively necessary at the moment to advance the plot.
Even more so with the Argama than...
Yeah.
which probably has the most inconsistent complement of mobile suits.
I mean, the AUG era definitely is one of a use whatever the fuck we happen to have on hand.
Yes. There's also a lot of... Camille doesn't necessarily stay on the argument the whole time by any means, and
No.
goes down and up from Earth a few times.
And yeah, just looking at it timing-wise, we will probably have one mission left in Zeta for next week.
Yeah, that's what I
So
got.
it's already about 2:30. So I gotta complete this one and then one more after this.
Considering what's going on here, and considering they didn't bother going over the Psycho Gundam earlier, I would assume the next one's basically that plot line. Or they're skipping the rest of that plot line.
Probably. I mean, there's no way we're getting out of Zeta without having to fight the Psycho Gundam, so...
No. That's the last place it appears, so...
Yeah.
Turns out the Psycho Gundam has a giant fatal weakness of being stabbed in the head.
No, actually, they just fucking skip it.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
I mean...
Do both Psycho Gundam confrontations happen in New Translation?
That's a good point.
Because
They
this is
might
based
not.
off New Translation.
Yeah, they might not, actually. It might all just be combined down. Yeah, because no, looking at the next one is...
Yeah, because you could just leave it at the first one and just assume Corey's dead, and that even though she didn't.
Yeah, the next one is like the pre stuff is dealing with Haman and the Guadon, and then you get the like historic moment,
Oh, yeah, there's also Hamon.
cats and him being a fucking idiot. And then we get, in the sixth scenario, the most intricate sequence of events to actually succeed at a particular mission. So the gold modification for scenario 6 requires you to have Camille defeat Shirako within 6 turns. Thing is that Shirako doesn't actually start on the map.
Okay.
You have to have Quattro defeat Haman twice before Shirako actually appears. So you have to have him actively attack her every turn, succeed at counterattacks every turn, and then, like, basically luck into the damage numbers rolling high enough in order for her to be defeated twice, fast enough for Shirako to spawn, allowing you to get to him with Camille and fight him.
It's a one-on-one fight between the two.
Oh yeah, no, it's so the thing about that Eddie's Frontier is like we've had to bring this up a few times in the past, just because, as you may notice, we are fielding some ludicrously large units like the Neo Zeong and the Deep Striker, And this game doesn't do a actually terribly good job of representing comparative size because the warships are just like, 2x3s usually. The warships are significantly bigger than the Deep Striker. Not that much significantly bigger than the Neo Zeong, but still, like, I think the argument based on that, what we saw there, is like 1.5-ish times the size of the Neo Zeong. Because the Neo Zeong is like roughly 200 meters tall. Yeah, it's very easy to forget when you're watching Gundam, but like a standard mobile suit is like usually like around 18 meters. They are fairly big.
Yeah.
I mean, they're somewhat nothing in the sense of Mecha Series, but that's also because Mecha Series does include the overarching pool of like super robots where things get utterly
Really
fucking ludicrous.
Especially older series where you can have things that are completely ridiculous in size.
I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily all that unique to older series. What's the
that's kinda true,
what's the vintage on Demon Bane?
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest mech in existence, or biggest mech in any series, is a modern series. So
That's true.
there,
Granted, that series is over the top.
there is no series that exists that is anything that mildly approaches the Tengen Toppa Gurren, Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, which is measured in light years.
Yeah. Prior to that
Because
one,
it's larger than the observable universe.
I will say prior to that one,
Prior
though,
to that,
Demon Bane actually had it. Because Demon Bane was also stupid.
just the very final things were, and the movie one, the series one was still really, really big.
Yes, because it was big enough to like use galaxies as projectile
and then the
weapons.
movie was just like, why not bigger? Numbers have no meaning anymore.
Okay, in fairness, numbers have loose and fast meanings in these series in the first place.
Jesus. Fuck me, Demon Bane is already 15 years old. I've just turned to dust.
Galzon has chosen the method or the form of his destroyer.
Unfortunately, we do not have a safe up marker development mobile suit.
No.
Well, Deep Striker doesn't exist.
Yes.
Deep Striker exists on paper.
Yeah.
But you make a point, because the on paper design, they might have tried to build years after they did it. Escalation.
Interrelated note, Gurren Lagann is 15 years old. So.
Yeah. The movies are slightly more recent, though, which is where the Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann is from. Because to put this in perspective, the series Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, the super big one that like throws galaxies, here's a comparative size with Demon Bane.
No, Demon Bane
Right,
is big.
so there's its foot, and then we're zooming in to see Demon
And then
Bane.
I guess they were upset that there's a...
Other way around.
Oh, yeah.
Demon Bane is the big one on the left there.
never mind.
Yeah.
Ah,
But then they had to... I guess they decided they didn't have the biggest mechs. They need to make a bigger one.
yeah.
Actually trying to run the Deep Striker out of energy.
The most effective battle tactic. Throw waves of our own men at it until it runs out of energy. And then hope it just goes home.
Yeah, the thing about, honestly, both Gurren Lagann and Demon Bane is, strictly speaking, there is technically no upward size limit for how large they can actually get. Gundam Login, because it is specifically related to how much spiral energy is poured into it, and spiral energy is technically infinite. And Demon Bane, because the mecha in Demon Bane are literally gods.
Also,
And not just like individual gods, they are actual like multiversal entities that are gods, and therefore have, again, theoretically infinite power.
Also, very technically, if you're building a mecha in space, your size limit is basically non-existent. There,
You still need to be able to move it.
yes,
Uh,
but
Demon Bane wasn't really built.
yeah, I know.
Again, see aforementioned comment of them
I'm
being
not commenting
literal
on that.
gods.
Yeah, I'm not commenting on that series specifically, but
Yes.
if you are theoretically just trying to build a very big mobile suit, because, anyways, if you're very, space is the one place where you could do it. I can't justify it, but it's the one place where you could do it.
Yeah. No, there is definitely a case in Gundam, at the very least, where there are quite a number of mobile armors that are like, yeah, no, this is not actually capable of operating in atmosphere, like, at all.
Yeah.
We're fielding two of them.
Yes. Like, game mechanics here aside, being able to attach the Minovsky crafts to them, actually,
Well, I
in
mean,
universe, even a Minovsky craft would not
I mean,
real-
would allow those to operate. That's how
probably not the Neo Zeong.
I mean, it's how the other stuff works. It's how all the white base actually works in atmosphere. That does not have any sort of thrusters whatsoever on the bottom of the deck to keep it aloft.
Yeah.
Wait, so the white base is...
White base has a monocraft. That's how it flies.
Inherently, yes.
Oh, that's right. It's a size issue. They haven't miniaturized it, so...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they do not miniaturize like the Minovsky craft. So the reason why the G Gundam from Hathaway is so fucking huge is because it has a Minovsky craft integrated within it, which is still, even at that point, not something that they can miniaturize to the size that it can be put on a standard mobile suit.
It'll take forever for Amuro to actually, not Amuro, Camille to actually
Get over there, yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, miniaturization doesn't really become a thing until after, like, UC 100 to a certain extent.
There's no actual time limit on it, right?
Nope.
The only time limit was destroy 2 of the engines within
4
5/4
turns, technically,
turns.
for the
And we did that on
special
turn 1.
quest.
Yep.
It's all clean up here and waiting for Camille to actually get up far enough so that he can kill
Jared.
Jared.
Well, so he can get
attack
what would be
Jared.
the killing blow on Jared, but end up killing Mohar.
Yeah.
Which Jared still blames him for, even though Mohar made her choice.
So do those engines also count as enemy units you have to defeat?
Yes, those are units.
Okay.
In much the same way in that one previous map that, like, the turrets that were just sitting there not really doing anything are units. Anything with a red border around it is considered a unit, an enemy unit.
Oh, he's angry now.
Yep.
He's angry now, but unfortunately, only garbage on him. Come, follow us down here so our NPC can kill you.
Yep. He's not an NPC. Guest character. You could troll him. It's literally not an NPC.
He's not our Camille, he's an NPC.
Yep, those sure are characters that can do nothing.
Uh-huh. Need to let out the delicious candy inside the pinatas.
So for the audience watching, the Neo Zeong has a passive ability that keeps everything from using ranged attacks within 9 squares of it.
It does.
In a game full of ranged weapons, this is broken nonsense.
In a game full of the broken nonsense we're fielding, this is broken nonsense.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exactly what you need. 13 points of awaken on level up.
Okay. Slightly closer.
Yep. That's what I want. You're not the one on the weekend.
そんなんで俺にちょっかい出そうってかよ。
Ideally, I would want to not fight in a Gundam.
Even if I had to fight, I'd prefer to be in a Gundam than anything else.
Granted. Whatever the fastest one is on the field, so I can get the hell away.
Oh, the Zuda, it's the fastest thing around.
That doesn't shake apart in 3 turns.
Details, details. Didn't specify that part.
Alternatively, a gun that has completely remote control from thousands of miles away, so I don't have to give a fuck.
No, that doesn't work in Oscar particles.
I can have thousands of miles of wire.
Stuck on something.
Gundam! 俺はついてるぜ。
ジュリド、お前なんかに。こ
Okay. Well, it knows he's going to die because it was doing this cutscene for that reason.
Yeah.
So I did not trigger this fight.
ジェリドをやらせはしない。守ってみせると言ったろ。
Peace out.
ジェリド、あなたは決して負けはしない。
You're wrong.
あなたは世界を正しい方向に持っていくことができる。
Gerald will not do any of those things.
戦うこと、あなたにとって
He'll do those poorly.
マガー、お前までいなくなっちまうなんて。マガー、マガーって聞こえた。神湯、なんでいつも。楽には殺さん。お前は俺がなぶり殺してやる。
Might be a change for the...
Oh.
Because this is based on the OVAs.
The movie, yeah.
Yeah, on the movie, yeah. Because Malwar is notably one of the few women in the series that doesn't interact with Camille. Except literally be killed by him.
Oh, I may not hit. There. Should have stayed down, Jared. Lived. I wasn't expecting him to live.
Take that, Camille's dad.
What Gundam would I want to fight in? None. Gundam pilots usually don't come to good ends.
No.
And even if they themselves don't end poorly, everyone they know and love does.
なんとかグラナダへの直撃だけは避けられたよね。
Judau's mostly okay?
彼らにとって
I mean,
Most of the kids live.
地球も空もみんな同じなんだ
I think all the kids
わ。
live.
だから平気で破壊できる。
Puru. Also, as far as Judao knows, his sister is dead.
She doesn't die though. She's alive.
She doesn't, but Judao doesn't know that.
Might die later.
No, he never does, actually.
Oh,
He fucks off to Jupiter.
but then he gets a sweet jumpsuit.
Alternatively, if I actually was forced to fight in a Gundam, obviously it would be one from the G Gundam universe. That way I could just crush my own head and we're good. Alright, I'll just jump in one of these Neo-Holland windmill Gundams, pop one of the heads off, and okay! Fight over. Or Neo-Mexico's problematic Gundam.
Well, these characters we got.
Yay!
Yeah, Jared and Katz are automatic. Moar and Sarah were the quests we did.
I'm going to guess they are all junk.
Jared
At
might
this point,
be
at least.
okay, except for the fact that I don't think he has any Awaken.
Let's find out.
I mean, Katz is going to be fuck garbage. Oh, you do
1
20
key
awaken. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, I was kind of
He is a new type.
barely.
Not a
Yeah.
good new type, but he's a new type.
Meanwhile, Cats, even if he has the best stats in the game, we're still not fucking fielding him.
He does not.
I don't care if he has 300s across the board. Get the fuck out.
He has actually very bad stats.
Yes.
Yeah. He has below average stats.
Then there was more. Who's going to be okay.
160.
160s across the board.
Slightly
No
above
awaken, though.
Basic pilot.
And then Sarah. Middling at
Middling.
best.
Yeah.
Has awakened, but nothing stellar.
Yeah.
Speaking of awaken,
If I had to pilot a Gundam, I'd pilot the hot scramble, so I'd be fucking invincible.
that means you're in the safest world because that's
It's
from,
not even in it, yeah.
any Gundam that shows up in Build Fighters.
Yeah.
Because then I'm just playing with toys.
Yep. Although it technically means I already died in the regular Gundam world.
Only if you believe that it is a weird Gundam afterlife.
Yes, it is. It is not everyone who dies in the Gundam world. It is specifically Gundam Valhalla. So those who die valiantly in battle in the Gundam world get their chance at an afterlife in Build Fighters. She technically died in battle.
I mean, yeah, she got hit by a motorcycle.
Yeah, got hit by a motorcycle battleship and her head popped off.
カミーユたちがコロニー落としを阻止するべく空で奮戦していたその頃、クワトロはブレックスの護衛として地球へと降り立ち、
If we are specifically talking like UC Gundam locked stuff, though, probably the F99 record breaker.
しかしその疑似とは
Record breaker.
Although that does technically like connect me with Mars Xeon, kind of.
地球に住む政治家たちは空へ出ることを
No, no, we've been over this. You can just take it and leave.
己の利権のためならスペースガイドの言い分など
Not like they have keys.
もはや関係がないのである。連邦上層部の腐
I
敗に
mean, strictly speaking, I think that's record breaker is
畳みかけるように事件は起こった。
technically in the hands of like the Crossbone Vanguard. It's complicated. It was technically developed by SNRI, but then was like further developed from Mars Xeon Tech, and I don't know, it's dumb.
Right, the political intrigue part of this.
Yep.
Yes, the F99 record breaker is the one I showed before that has the stupid horn up on top of its head and also has like the sort of prototype wings of light. It is the final question mark development in the chain from like the F90 and F91. I only put the question mark there because technically the Phantom Gundam is developed off of the record breaker, but is definitely unique enough that I don't think it really counts as being along the same chain. Basically. Anything I would say the Phantom Gundam actually owes more of its development to the Amakusa than the record breaker.
旧ジオン残存戦力の半数とも言われるその力。
Right, and Homencard shows up and reminds us exactly why Zeon is terrible.
Pretty much.
ルワダンへと交渉に赴くが。
I demand a pony.
Get her a pony.
英語の方々、私のためによくぞ来てくれました。いや、
Shark had said this for about 30 seconds.
Well, the big thing is that the implication here is that like Char immediately recognizes that that's not really Minerva.
Yeah.
Like immediately he's like, all right, I'm on fucking whatever, man.
ミネバ様に無礼な。ミネバ様はだな。ハマン。まだこんな年だというのに担ぎ出したのか。ジオン滅亡後、アステロイドベルトの中で育てた子が結局地球圏に
I'm pretty sure Vamahan never brought the real Minerva in during Zeta. Like, I'm pretty sure it was always a duplicate during Zeta.
Yeah.
ミネバ様の御前でよくも。
You don't really get to know the real Eva until
Pretty much.
交渉は失敗によ
But yeah, just because if nothing else, there's never really an opportunity during the events of Zeta once she shows up that they could have really made that swap.
さまよ
we know Axis
そしてアーガワに届いた新たな情報は
Oh yeah, no, Axis like Minerva was absolutely with Haman during this time. Like that's literally Char's deleted affair, Portrait of a Young Comet. Maharaja Karn was entrusted with looking after Minerva Zabi. Like that's
I'm just assuming that
whole
when she was
thing.
like, we're gonna go on this warship and probably fight,
didn't bring
left
Minerva.
Minerva at home.
Yeah,
この混沌とした
Basically.
戦場の中に活路はある
and
の
like
だろう
Char, like so again, this is
に課せられる任務は
these specific instances within Zeta are specifically why I still personally hold Char's deleted affair, Portrait of Young Comet, as mostly canonical, solely because we like from that there is absolutely canonical evidence that Char was with Haman and Maharaja Karn and the like baby Minerva for a significant amount of time.
I mean, they show a
混沌の
flashback
果てに
himself of him like
Yeah. So, like, it doesn't necessarily mean that all the events of Char's deleted affair are purely canonical, but it's hard to argue. Like, there's nothing that makes them be non-canonical, and we at least have confirmation that there what that like the basics of it at least were the case. That like after the events of the 1 Year War, Char fucked off to Axis, you know, with.
Zeta novelization implies it's itself not really canon.
Yeah, so there's a lot there, and so, like that's why, and yeah, like Char gets goes aboard the Guadon and is like, show respect to Minerva, and Char just kind of like, I fucking would if she were here, but like continues to kind of put on that whole
that's
like,
not true. He would not.
no, Char actually does like Minerva.
That's true. But, well, that's partially true. He's not going to do. He doesn't have.
It
He doesn't have respect for Homencard's pageantry.
No,
What he is so mad for is that he sees her as having exploiting Minerva.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like quite literally, like it's pretty well implied that of the entire Zabi family, if he had had his way, the only one that Char actually would have left alive is Dozel.
Yeah.
Like he had no real problem with Dozel.
But it's more of just a complete set situation in the end.
I mean, he's not even the one that killed Dozel. Like Dozel pulled a fucking, guarding the bridge with the big Zom to let everyone escape Solomon and sacrificed his life there. But like Char was totally fine with Minerva. Like at the very least, she was a fucking baby. She was completely innocent of all the other nonsense of the fucking Zabi family.
Yeah.
And even like when you watch, I think it was the OVA
Origin,
stuff,
yeah.
It's like Dozel clearly like also seemed to think that most of the shit his family was doing was awful.
Oh, yeah.
He just had no means to stop it.
Yeah, he was just like, look, I can't really, like, I have no ability to stop my father and my brother from doing this horrible shit. I'm going to do my best in my position to make sure that, like,
The people under me aren't
you know, and like when I'm like in charge of like the military academy, I do my best to like train, you know, the people in my military academy to actually be kind of, you know, noble and, you know, heroic. And like I myself am not really like, I have loyalty to my family in the sense that like I don't want my family to get fucked up, but I don't necessarily agree. And everybody fucking hates Cassilia. Everybody hates Cassilia. Everyone like looks at Cassilia and just like, you're fucking vile.
Also, Nineveh kind of represents someone like, you would never have to fall under her family's legacy. I think Char is doing protection.
I mean, a little bit, but
The idea if Nineveh had been able to survive in free of Hamas influence, Char probably would have considered that a thing. Like,
yeah, I mean, it
is not going to be a horrible person.
it clearly plays out somewhat because fucking Audrey is totally fine. Like,
True. Char wasn't around to see that.
yep,
No.
he was just a floating swan ghost.
That is true.
Yes, everyone is a floating swan ghost at some point.
No, only 3 people.
Everyone else is just a regular foot.
There are other ghosts. We just don't know what form they decide to take.
Yes.
Get to the end of Zeta Gundam in the last few episodes, and you will see the ghost dimension.
Yeah, there are plenty of ghosts. It's just that specifically Char, Lala, and Amuro manifest specifically as swan ghosts. He is.
He is. But yes, he does think he's better than all of you.
And no, at the same time, he's somehow more reprehensible than all of them.
To be fair, it's not hard to be better than a slug.
Only from the neck up.
20% slug. No.
Also, now I'm actually having to really think about that. Well, because, like, on the one hand, you've got the Titans, right? You've got Jamatov Hyman and Bascom and all of that, and, you know, a truly, utterly fucking vile organization. Then you remember that Paptimus Shirako is from the Jupiter Energy Fleet. Possibly the most vile organization in all of UC Gundam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, no, you know what? I'm not sure anymore that he is necessarily better than them.
Yeah. Think of the kind of colony society to produce a man like Paptimus Shirako and consider him a worthy representative.
Yeah.
People of Jupiter are living in city leadership.
Look, just because the ruling family of Jupiter Energy Fleet, eventually Jupiter Empire, is the exact kind of person that thinks, what if I built these bunch of mobile armors as dirty bombs to send to Earth?
They're the kind of people who then go on to think, what if we just mentally regressed everyone on Earth to infantile space so they would die in their... They're terrible.
Now, the Angel Halo is a grand plan on their part. Let's talk about some other shit from Zanskare, like the part where political dissidents build a guillotine. Not even metaphorical, like literally, let's clear out an area in the town square and build a fucking guillotine.
Guillotine in every square. They love their symbolism. Better if they can make it livable. In Zanskare's basically, they've got Korea as their like figurehead.
give me a colony and I promise I'll fuck off.
She will not fuck off. They will give her a colony, though, because they're dumb. But that's not till Double Zeta.
Oh, yeah. How do you like everybody? That worked before in history.
Okay, Haman, we'll give you this colony, but you have to promise not to drop it. Oh, goddamn.
I mean, they funneled all their military resources. I mean, Titans are gone. They think, well, all we can do now is appease. Come on. Give her more shit.
You know, it also doesn't help that Jamatov Hyman's character design is explicitly, what if we made somebody to make Dracula look like a kindly grandpa?
Yeah, I'm not sure why he has the, like, tall neck. Huge collar, black, red cloak.
He's not the one with the vampire powers.
No, he's not. Just a regular dude. An evil regular dude. Not sure how deluded he is considering the position of power he actually has.
Yeah.
Somehow Jamatov Hyman is and looks more evil than the man literally named Grave.
In fairness, we're talking about the unsettledness of early 80s Gundam animation.
Oh my god. When you get to Double Zeta, if you want to subject yourself to it, just look at the outfit that Haman changes it.
God.
Jesus fuck.
Haman's Double Zeta outfit is a thing of beauty.
Like, let me tell you, Haman's outfit in Zeta, that's a fit. That is a good outfit.
I don't know what you're talking about. Haman's Double Zeta outfit is supreme fucking vibes.
It is a different fit, is what I'm saying.
That is absolute fucking vibes, my dude.
But, like, Haman rocks her weird, like, poncho thing in this. It's great.
Okay.
Weird poncho thing and like, jeggings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, cool. Haman works for you. Double Zeta Haman.
She was in the middle of the workout. And they were like, you need to go meet someone. Oh, shit, give me a poncho.
Double Zeta Haman is like, I am the queen of space. Behold.
That being said, Double Zeta as a whole is way more fucking 80s of a series than Zeta is.
I mean, yeah. Kara soon exists.
Yeah. Kara Soon looks like she escaped from Gem to come be in Double Zeta. She looks like she was a fucking lead singer for the Misfits as in a former career.
And then we get fucking Mosh Marcello, who is the distilled version of the Bishonen. As far as the 80s is concerned.
So only real thing coming up in this one. Let me just confirm one more time that there's only the one special for Scenario 5. Yeah. Okay, so the only thing for Scenario 5 is have Camille defeat Jared within 2 turns. That'll get us a silver mod.
Defeat Jared within 2 turns?
Yes.
Doesn't matter who?
Camille.
Oh, Camille has to. Okay.
Again, though, as usual, it just has to be the killing blow from Camille, so. We get a very special guest when we complete this mission, just in general. We can recruit Manetha Laozabi.
I'm sure she's a fantastic pilot.
I assume she's supposed to be crewing on a
I
ship.
guess high charm. She's a child.
If we get enough, like, kid characters recruited, we can put an entire ship of children.
Unfortunately, I do believe that Maneva is the last child we actually get access to.
That's not true. Double Zeta is full of children.
They're like teenagers. I'm talking actual children like Al and Maneva.
Like under 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
10-ish in that range.
She will, though.
She will totally get away with this.
Who's going to stop her? You, Jared?
Also, we need an antagonist for the next series.
250 base charm and her like default starter ability is the one that adds to charm.
That makes sense.
Also, her hair is a helmet.
Style.
And then next week, we'll get to Zeta Gundam Scenario 6, where we have like 6 things that we have to do specifically.
So what you're saying is we may want to save Scum a little.
Most of them shouldn't be too hard. Like, one of them is have Camille defeat Shirako, that thing we were going to do anyways. Then there is have Emma engage Rakoa more than once, then defeat her. Yeah, fine. We would need to know that we needed to do that, but, like, it's easy enough to do. And then it's the one of, like, having Camille defeat Shirako specifically within 6 turns, which is, like, the highly specific set of things that has to happen.
That's the part that may want to...
I mean, the big thing about it is specifically, like, we have to rely on Quattro being able to hit Haman. Quattro is a really fucking good pilot, so...
Yeah.
It genuinely should not be too hard.
Yeah.
Are you trying to over-explain things to Yazan that... in order to get him to go out and do things?
I stopped listening half an hour ago. What do I kill? I've only been talking to you for 3 minutes. I know.
Pants are too tight. Got a rage boner.
Listen, Jamtov, I know that strictly speaking, you're like my commanding officer and everything, but let me explain to you how this works. You point me in a direction, I kill everything in that direction. I do not need further explanation.
I also do not care what that thing is.
My God, they actually used Astonaj's last name.
Yeah.
Yes, he does have a last name. Medos, yeah. It comes up like once.
Well, you can't fly as well as a 12-year-old child can.
I'm gonna take the Methus out. Oh, okay.
Some of the better pilots.
On record, Fa never crashed into a bridge.
There's that at least.
No, Cass, what do you think you're doing? Please stop. But Fa went out. Yeah, she's better than you.
And she does her most good in that. Fair. But effectively, she doesn't
Well,
die.
Yes, she is.
She's not a terrible man. She's just He's alive by the end of it.
Well, yes, but when the enemy blows your arms and legs off and therefore no longer considers you a threat, it doesn't really count that you survived. They stopped caring about your existence.
which is the best defense the Methus has, because it falls apart at the drop of a hat.
So what you're saying is the Gundam I want to pilot into battle is one that once it hits the battlefield, its arms and legs just pop off automatically, and the enemy leaves me alone.
Yeah.
That's borderline the Methus in the first place.
Failed many times. Failed many times.
Well, yeah, but in fairness, the Rigazi was actually like useful, unlike the Methus.
They took everything they learned from every single tale Beta and put it into that.
25, 20, 120, 125, 125. Hold on.
So
Do I
she's
have a generic soldier? I do have a generic soldier. Let's see here. Okay, she gets
Flat 100.
better than
She's
a generic
slightly better
soldier,
than a
but not
generic
by
soldier.
much.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not fair. That's,
that is not fair. The main thing about Char is he's a good soldier. That happens to be a new type.
It was kill.
Specifically, here somewhere. Have Camille defeat Jared within 2 turns.
That's tight. You fall. Back on the ship.
In fairness, you're probably never on the ship, because why wouldn't you?
I'm putting everyone but Camille on the ship.
The big key to it is that Jared is going to rush forward and probably attack the Guadon, so just have the Guadon blow his fucking ass off.
Well, I don't have a choice there. One's on
Yeah.
our ship.
Yeah, so the Guadon's going to do a pretty significant hit to Jared, which will put him decently within damage range. Still might need to throw an attack from one of our dudes onto Jared. to
Or
get him-
Jared just stood there.
Yeah.
Jared didn't vet. Just stand there.
Well, all right then. We're not getting that silver mod, I guess.
We will.
Yeah, so you can attack him now, so it's just a matter of...
And we can
Weakening enough to, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so who's got Mercy? One of our characters does actually have it, but I don't think we actually turned it on.
We do have it, actually. Missile broke, but won't kill. I know exactly who has Mercy, actually.
Oh, is that the starter for Zeta Amuro?
That is the starter skill that Zeta Amuro has.
Hey, new type. Which makes sense.
Damage control.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, damage control is the G-Gen version versus Super Robot Wars. All yours, Camille.
It's just 85% chance.
And if it's seated, you have a billion things you can do to advance
Yep.
it, so.
Kamiyu, 邪魔をするな、ガンダム。好きにさせるか。憤りを捨てれば人は分かり合えるのに。好きにさせるか。
Failing, like usual. Used to it.
Yep.
Welcome.
We'll get a chance to get more Advance of Zeta units.
They're the extra thing that pop up.
Yeah.
Was that the only one on this one? Just the 2-turn?
Yep.
Okay.
So everything else is just do what you want.
Mm-hmm. I mean, technically speaking, there are a bunch of other, like, special dialogues we can trigger, but we've never cared about those, so...
Yeah.
No.
No.
No, you don't have to. I make you get back on the ship, you get out. Like, I assume special dialogue if we actually have cats fight.
So there is one special, like, there's, again, a bunch of these missions have, like, a little special dialogue.
Yeah.
So there was one for Jared versus, Jared fighting Haman. There are two for Sarah and Camille. There is one for Sarah and Katz, which the Google Translate made his name Cutlet. There are two for Rakoa and Camille. There is one for Rakoa and Quattro, one for Rakoa and Fa, and one for Rakoa and Emma. But again, we don't give a shit, so...
Alright, deploy tactical Neo-Zeon.
Yep.
Yep, murder everything. That is a lot of everything.
Yep. Good job, Heavy Gundam.
Back on the ship. Ah, yes. Advance towards the Jim Grin.
Good claw.
Yep.
You're also done. Get back on the bus. You don't have goodies. Please leave the Gem Quell alone. You chose this. I'll cube ask.
It's fine. He knows how to nope out with a giant ship. Hey, now you can capture whatever those things are.
Hazel and Hazel Kai, I believe. Yeah, Hazel Kai, Hazel Custom, same thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Or salvage.
Technically, yes.
Ah, just gonna kill him. For experience.
Experience.
And that Hyzak, I assume.
Yes, we have everyone but one in this line, so who cares?
The one we don't have is a fucking Hyzak, who nobody gives a shit.
Yep.
No, just big xylophones.
I feel like you could have destroyed the one at full health.
I'll do both. And you're right.
Uncle. Move up, realize that you don't have enough energy to shoot again.
Oh, nice of energy. I have weapons besides the nuclear missile.
Yeah. I mean, technically, yes, but... This thing is on the field because it has a nuclear missile. That's,
I mean, technically, it's on the field because it's one of Krampus's favorites.
Yeah, I just
yeah,
really like
yeah.
the suit.
It is one of our final team suits, even though it's not like Unicorn Gundam tier.
No, but...
Those are just good for general cleanup work.
Like Xylophone guys having the day of his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, when are we switching to the next song? My arm's getting pretty tired. What do you mean, next song?
Yazod, who's so violent he just fights for both sides.
Yep. You destroyed my Hammurabi, so I joined your side. It's not true. We should realistically switch the
Sananju to a pilot with an actual awakening.
Oh, definitely. Not disputing that.
As funny as it is to have Yazan Gable flying around in the Sananju. One more level for the egg.
That Isaac.
Finish it off in style.
ここで落とされるわけにはいかない。落ちろ。
Plus, we need XP. What do you want?
Devastation! This was not my intention!
That's true.
Yep.
Hey, more energy. Soon we get to the point where we can fire twice. And then really be out of energy.
Fire twice, bite the
Go
bus.
back to shit.
Yeah.
Like right now, it's like fire once, wait a turn, two, fire again. It's gonna become fire twice, go home. Axis is bigger than your rock. Fired a bunch of lasers at it. Why didn't it stop it? It's a giant fucking rock. It doesn't care.
A Dawn and the Alexandria. And a child.
Child. It's a reinforced armor.
More hit points.
All right, with that, that's where we're going to go ahead and call it here for today. Thank you all for joining us again for another Super Robot Sundays here on Sound Goblin Gaming. We will be back tomorrow with more of our Pokemon-style playthrough of Elden Ring. I'll be right back here on Tuesday with more of the ongoing war against the crustacean menace at Phoenix Point Year 1. We will be back on Saturday with the final part of the actual story of Danganronpa V3 and therefore the end of the actual Danganronpa series. We will be back here next Sunday with the very end of Zeta Gundam as we engage in the Battle of Grips. Till then, I've been Bograt.
I've been the Krampus.
I've been Shiv.
And I'm Vincent.
Have a good one, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye. Remember to send your child soldiers in the battle.